Hey, my name is Isaac. I've been training calisthenics for 7.5 years. It is the day after Christmas, which is Boxing Day, and we've got 7 clients to look after. So this is going to be a raw video on what I do as a job as a calisthenics online coach. And this will also be an opportunity for you to see whether you want to work with me or not, and whether you want to be a calisthenics coach and content creator as well. So on my screen, we've got Gary, Darren, Luke, Keith, David, Mojo, and George that we've got to do reviews for. My workflow, my process is I get my clients to upload clips on WhatsApp. So Gary has uploaded all of his clips onto WhatsApp. I'm going to now watch his clips. I'm going to screen record everything on Loom. And then I'm going to send him the Loom recording, get the transcript, put it through AI, and give him a written version of it. And with my expertise and my 7.5 years of training calisthenics and my 2.5 years of coaching it online, I'm going to provide the best service I can to my clients. So without further ado, let's go into this. We've got 7 clients to knock out. We've got 7 Loom recordings to do, so let's not waste any more time. Hey Gary, Merry Christmas. I'm going to look at your clips now and we're going to get straight into it. So it's going to be a big year, and I just want to make sure that going into this block that we're doing, we're going to be working towards the right things. So just like our core last week, I mentioned that we're going to do band muscle ups, and we're going to be doing front lever presses with the band. We're then going to go into our advanced tuck planche, first of all with the band, but then also doing tuck to advanced tuck. And then for our pike push-ups, we're going to start doing them elevated. Just looking at a few notes that you have over here, Isaac clips from one set of block 1 day 1, also added a muscle up. I have a question for our core. So at what point in the movement do you start to elbow drive? Okay, so with your box pull, and I mentioned this on the core already, but when you go for it, you want to try to get your eyes to be like same level as the bar. So what I mean by that is there's 3 phases to the muscle up. The first phase is you activating your lats and pulling up without bending your arms, and then using knee drive as well. You want to try to get to this point, but without bending your arms and only using knee drive. And then the second part is that's when you elbow drive and you go to it in a C-shaped position. And then the third phase is just a straight bar dip. So if we look at a video that I've sent before for muscle up, I'll show you exactly what that will look like. Pardon me. So we've got muscle up tutorial. Over here. So this is a box pull. Boom. So we want to be as high as we can with this, because that way, when we then use elbow drive in the band and muscle up, then we can pull in a C-shaped curve. So if you look at the band over here, you have like your scapulars activated, you're pulling down on the bar like so, and then when your head is over here and you're trying to get it to over here, that's when you pull. So the muscle up should be a C-shaped curve like that. Boom. So that's why we work it in separate parts. So dropping the ego, using the scapulars, so I'm already this high without even bending my arms, and then getting over the bar, and then using the elbow drive. Let's look at a few more things. Okay. with your handstands, Gary, you've improved quite a lot, and we mentioned this last time, but we're now using our feet in a more structured way. So instead of trying to teeter off and kind of guess how well we're progressing with our feet, we've actually got a system behind it. So obviously this is pretty simple to understand, but you have one foot off and it comes down, and then the other foot comes off and it comes down. Now the next phase for our footwork should be to do this. Advanced footwork. Okay. So I want you to try this one, Gary. So you're up to this right now. Next phase is to then blend it together, like so. Boom, boom, over here. So now you're switching in between, like that and like that. Then eventually you can slow it down, and that's how you do the handstand in a more structured way. Lots of people, they just guess where they are, but guessing is not going to help you progress. You need to have like a solid plan on where you're going to go. These are the pike push-ups that we talked about. They're really good. A really common mistake that most people make is that they sacrifice the activation in the shoulder, in the serratus, and with the head positioning for a more stricter pike. So Gary can't pike, but you can see that he's not using his tricep, and nose like this and hands like this. But obviously the feet aren't there. But you shouldn't be afraid of not piking, because when you have a bent arm handstand, when you have a bent arm press and handstand, you don't need to have a strict pike, because you can still get up like this. All right? And handstand push-ups don't require any hamstring flexibility. So if your goal is to do like a nice clean pike, then yeah, sure, you've got to make sure that you have straight legs. But if you're trying to do handstand push-ups and a bent arm press to handstand, you don't need to straighten your legs. You just need to front load everything onto your shoulders. So the next phase in our program is we're going to elevate our feet. Yep. Planche lean slides. This is good. So immediately we have protraction, check. Our wrist angle is not broken. Our joints are stacked on top of each other. That's good. PPT, our lower back is lower than our upper back. Only thing that we're missing is that we need to turtle our head more. So like protrude out further. If you look at my planche lean, or let's just find it over here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Yeah, planche lean slides. My head tries to come out as much as I can. That's because the more that you go in with your legs towards the center of gravity, the more that you have to dive down with your head. So then as I enter the tuck, you can obviously see my neck is protruded. In fact, I'm really trying to activate it as much as I can. If we go back to Gary, shirt is blocking it, but I don't believe that your intention is strong enough for the head dive. So let's try to strengthen that. Oh yeah. I can see it come out more now. So I can actually see the veins from your neck. So yeah, that's the right idea. I think we just did it a bit too abruptly. We need to control a little bit more. But the more that your legs come into the center of gravity, Gary, the more that you have to dive. But to do it gradually and slowly. Like even in this video, I'm not rushing it, because it's a bit hard to balance if you rush. I still try to keep my upper body as locked as I can and only my feet move. Right, now we have the advanced tuck. Awesome. This is really strong. So going to this next block, we're going to be doing front lever presses. But in order to do a front lever press, you can't be sinking through scapulars. You really need to make sure that you're retracting. And so this whole block that we've done in the past few weeks that we've been training together, Gary, we've been hammering down on technique and entry. So the reason why entry is important is because if you're all constantly swinging and you're not able to actually go and perform under tension with the hold, and you're wasting time trying to stop yourself from, swinging, then when you then do harder movements like the front lever press, you're just wasting time and you're wasting strength. So it's good that we've got our retraction, but we need to do it to a high degree as well. Your back should be more level at this point of our coaching. So let's go ahead and find an example of what retraction would look like. So go tuck front lever raise. Yeah, like this. Because then when we go ahead and do the press for front lever, then it's going to really matter a lot. You can find front lever press. Yeah, over here. My back cannot be slouched when I do a front lever press, or else it just becomes too hard. And when I come back into the front lever, I'm retracted as well. That way, I'm using as much of my lats as I can. Like if you think about like a cable row in the gym, you don't hunch your back over while trying to do it. You need to sit back and retract. And your lats is your prime mover when you're doing the front lever press. So that's why it has to be fully locked in, like so. Okay. L-sit is good. Trying to strengthen the triceps, and we're going to use L-sits in lots of our training in the future. So just making sure that we can lengthen our legs fully is going to be important. So the more that you go out, the more harder it gets. So let's just keep inching towards it. At this point, if you can't do both your legs out, at least try to do one leg bent like this, but in another leg like that. So it's kind of like a really wide or really super advanced single leg L-sit. So one leg straight, the other one over here. Give that a go, Gary. Now we're doing our scapular plank with movement. So this is correcting protraction. Your scapulars aren't the strongest, but this is exactly what we're doing to work towards it. Now, serratus anterior is over here, if you forgot what that looks like. And this is going to be a really important muscle for protraction. So it's not the prime mover when it comes to planche, because obviously if you're doing a planche like this, then you want your shoulders to support your body, right? But if you want to actually planche with protraction, which is going to give you less of an injury risk and it's going to help you more towards doing front lever presses, then this is going to be the prime mover for that protraction. So we're isolating this. It's fan shaped like that. And so in order for you to completely engage your serratus, you need to be protracted, but then your pelvis needs to be down. So when I'm looking at this, I'm looking for you leading with your hips and retracting. And then when you go up, your hips stay the same and it's actually lower than your upper back at the top. So now you should be able to correct it. Because then when your body is like here and then your upper back's like here, then you can contract that fan-shaped muscle over there. Awesome. Okay. Now for this specific exercise, step downs, these are really good, Gary. I'm really impressed. So you're trying to utilize your stretch reflex. So when you go down over here, then you can feel the muscle tug, and that's your scapulars creating an elastic force, which will then help you in the bottom range of the muscle up. I'm guessing this will be box pulls. So box pulls can be improved on. Like, you are doing the step down, which is nice, but you're just not incorporating that into the box pull, because the box pull is basically just 2 reps of step downs, but you're using your knees as momentum. So yeah, maybe we just implement that reframe. So your step downs is using the stretch reflex, but with no knee drive. Your box pull is 2 repetitions at least of a step down, but with knee drive. And as you come back down again, you need to go back into the step down. And the step down is a fully stretched position. So we go back to our muscle up guide. Look at how I did the box pull. Like this. Like a really aggressive elastic force. It seems like really crossfitty, but we're working the muscle up in different parts, and sometimes we need to use momentum in order for us to move to the next step, because form is an intensity when it comes to calisthenics. Yep. So we're doing explosive pull-ups, and these are good, but once again, I'm going to keep just drilling this into your brain, but we need to use that proper stretch reflex to get all the way down, because elbows aren't locked, which means that we're not utilizing the elastic potential in our scapulars. One day it will make sense, but nonetheless, your forearm strength is really carrying you for your high pull-ups. Like, it's really doing a good job of getting your body up and above the bar, but it's not your maximum potential. With technique, you can go much higher. I would stick to, at this stage, I'll actually stick to about 3 reps, because the other ones don't seem to do as much. 1, 2, 3. Like, Gary, I would much rather you try to fix your scapulars when it comes to explosive pull-ups and really activate the elasticity, rather than just trying to burn away your strength over here. So, like, less rep times because you're doing less work, and just fewer reps, but just focusing on that technique rather than burning yourself out. Yep. And that's it once again. Inverted deadlifts, let's see how many reps we're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is good, but we can utilize more range of motion. So our butt doesn't seem to be in line with our shoulders. If we go inverted deadlift over here, look at this in comparison. It's like a wider range of motion, or a bigger range of motion. That way, like, I can emulate the front lever position over here, and then I can use my lats more. But over here, Gary, like, we're just cutting things short. And instead of pulling upwards at the top, we're really just using our lats to control that. So you might even have to just revisit the inverted hold. And just make sure you're doing that correctly. Inverted pike hold. Yeah, so maybe even revisit this so that you can make sure that your hips are at the bottom. Inverted hold. Yeah, so just making sure that you're able to squeeze your glutes at the top and keep straight arms instead of compensating by bending your arms upwards. Right, planche lean push-ups. Oh my goodness, these are looking so much better compared to last week. So we're able to lead with our hips, retract, and then go up. So we've sacrificed range of motion compared to last time, but that's good because you're actually working on the right things. Sometimes too much intensity will get in the way of proper activations, and you end up losing sight of what you're actually working on in the first place. Because the whole point of planche lean push-ups is not so much the bottom range. That's a big bonus, and that translates into 90-degree handstand push-ups. But the true purpose of a lean planche push-up is to regain protraction at the top and get hollow chest and have that pop and explosiveness, and also to externally rotate at the top as well. So leading with our hips, which gives our body a great center line, which is really transferable to planche lean push-ups. That's the normal planche push-ups because you can go from your waist to catch into your elbows. And then we're losing that protraction to recruit our muscle fibers in our chest, diving down with our head. We're sacrificing range of motion because if we go too deep, then we won't be able to maintain good form. Popping, and we're sacrificing the lean. So instead of leaning like this the whole time, leaning like this, to prioritize the hollow chest position and to protract, and also to keep the hips down. So this is really, really good, Gary. Like I'm really proud of your progression when it comes to this movement. And I know it's a really weird one, but hopefully from what I've shown you before, we can kind of see the rationale behind it. So if we go to 90-degree handstand push-up, like our purpose is to get our hips to get into our elbows. That's why we lead with the hips. Get our hips to reach the elbows like this. So that's why we prioritize it. And then protraction is also going to be really good when it comes to planche push-ups as well, and especially doing a planche push-up to press. And then for the final clip, yeah, wow. You compiled everything to one. That's completely fine. Is good. Okay, elbow lever attempt. Okay, so we're balancing. That's nice. So we're doing elbow lever to practice our center of gravity, because with planche lean push-ups, it's really hard to understand the reasoning behind like the leverage within the planche lean push-ups. But if we stay on our center of gravity and we go like this, then we kind of understand like, okay, I'm doing my planche lean push-ups, but the reason why I'm trying to get them to my waist is because I need to get center of gravity, and that's essentially what you're doing for 90-degree handstand push-ups and planche lean push-ups. For tiger bends, you're doing it in the wrong sequence. So you're going down by extension. So you're just trying to fall down onto your elbows like that. When in actuality, it's a shift. So when you do a tiger bend dip, you're shifting to your elbows as a once you're in a deep dip position. So we go tiger bend. Yeah, so once we're in a deep dip, then we just fall onto our elbows. It's so much easier to do this range of motion, boom, than it is to come down from the top and do it. Because if you look over here, Gary, like it's such a long way for you to fall down over here as opposed to what I was doing over here. Boom. Like that transition is much better. And then when you come back to the dip, then you just reverse that motion. Let's have a look at more clips. Yeah, so like we're going to work on these strict pull-ups, and it's good that you have the weight on and you're experimenting with intensity, but just remember, like, we need to lock out our elbows as well, just to really make sure that we're using the scapulars and generating that force. And straight bar dips just to strengthen everything. So this will give you more confidence in your jumping pull-ups. Okay, yeah, so I can see you improving your inverted hold, and yeah, that advanced tuck front lever is actually really straight. Like that line is good. So when we talked about retraction before, this is good representation of it. I want you to kind of focus more on that when you're going to advanced tuck front lever. So even though when you enter it, it's like bottom up, you can still slightly tilt your hips upwards before entering the advanced tuck. So once again, I'll just show you how to enter it like that. Yeah. Okay, awesome. That was your review, Gary. What I'll go ahead and do is I will edit your program so then we can actually start exploring these harder movements. So I'm going to have to make this into block 2, adjusted date, and then I'll start adding the harder movements, and we'll go from there, and you'll start doing them for the next check-in. Awesome. That was Gary done. So let me just see if you guys are exposed correctly. Sometimes, like, depending on what time of day that I do the check-ins, the camera isn't exposed correctly, so I'm a bit dark. Okay. I'm not that dark. Should be fine. Maybe we just turn this light on a little bit. Okay, that should be better. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do Gary review 26/12/2025. Almost 2026, guys. And then we're going to send this to Gary. And then we're going to go into the transcript. We're going to copy, put it through ChatGPT. What the heck is this? This is a new feature for ChatGPT. Yeah, right. Client, summary, WhatsApp, friendly, no M dash, no bold, no dividers. And we're going to also update the summary. So now I've done Gary's check-in. Just keeping everything organized, guys. I'm going to provide the best service. And the best way to provide a good service is to make sure that you are covering all bases. No stones left unturned. Boom. That way, Gary, if he doesn't have time to read everything, or to watch everything, then he can just read it. Okay. And we'll just edit his program a little bit as well. Just replacing 4 exercises. We're going to bump it up a little bit. So now we adjust this to 26, and we'll do block 2. So just shy of December 28th, but I think Gary is ready at the moment. Yep. And in my own time, then I'll change this block to another thing. Okay. Pike push-up. We need to replace this with elevated. Elevated pike push-ups. Boom. And go 3 to 6 when we start off with new exercises. Boom, nice. Okay. Advanced tuck front lever, that can stay for now. And then pull focus 2, band muscle ups is good. We can give those a try more. Inverted deadlifts, inverted rows. Should place planche. Legs. Floating puck push up. Give those a try. Tuck, crows, inverted. Lever. Dummy planche leans. Yeah. Should be good for now. Elevated puck push-ups already going to be really challenging. Okay. Let's move on to Darren. Find Darren. Let's do this. Hey Darren, Merry Christmas, mate. Saw that you're going back to work for 14 days, so best of luck there. Hopefully you can celebrate in the New Year's, but as for now, let's go ahead and look at your clips, mate. So, coming back from last check-in, I think we've implemented a few things such as like banded full planche and to make sure that your advanced tuck pull-up technique is correct. So the last thing I said was for you to not guide with your head, because the biggest mistake that people make for advanced tuck pull-ups is when they go up, then their head and the chest goes up. But when your head and your chest goes up, you actually get further away from the bar. So if you look at my screen right now, right? Like when I try to move up like this, what's going to happen? I lose retraction. So when I pull up, but then my head goes up, then my chest pushes backwards, and so I'm further away from the bar. So you should actually do the opposite. So when you pull, the more that you pull, the more that your hips go up, and the more that you lie down. But we seem to have done it in a way where it's not in line with everything. So this just requires a little bit of an adjustment. You just need to make sure that your hips are not moving independently. It's just you just keep your hips high and they just stay. They don't actually move. They're just always high. And then you're just retracting harder and looking up. So this is fine. This is just like your first time really going for it with this new technique, but you'll get used to it for sure. And if you use bands, then like even better. But like you are capable of having a straight line. It just within the dynamic positions, it's different. But then again, like for advanced tuck, most people don't know this, but it's okay to have an incline, because when you do it full, like when you actually extend your legs fully, then the incline will go away. So if you're aware that you're inclined, you can like correct it and just make it more in line. But then also know that that's not the most important thing, because like if you're an incline, it'll go away when you do full anyway. So there's both sides of the coin. Yeah, looking for good tension over here. That's nice. I think definitely coming into the new year, you'll be able to do this way more comfortably with no hands. Like you would just put your hand behind your back. But the intention behind doing one-arm chin-up holds, besides for the fact that you're training for one-arm pull-up or one-arm chin-up, is that most people, when they're doing the advanced tuck touch, they don't actually have the ability to push intensely, because there's not an exercise out there that really emphasizes on that top range contraction. And the advanced tuck touch is a big step from what people usually do. And so if you actually do the one arm chin up hold, you're working maximally in a contracted position for your pulling muscles. And so you're able to work and carry that intensity into your advanced tuck touch. Because with front lever and with things in calisthenics, sometimes the gaps between progressions and movements are just way too large. And you need to find ways to bridge that gap, and just training intensely, whether it be in this, the most specific angle or not, will still have carryover with strength and muscle mass combined. Inverted rows, these are good. What I would do is I'll probably move the box a little bit closer and drop your hips down. So funnily enough, when you were about to let go of the bar to finish your set, you actually entered the right position. So when you dropped your hips down, that's actually the right position. So you're retracting and everything, but at the same time, keep your hips down like this and just row like that. So your hips need to come down. So you've entered it, yep, but now drop your hips down. That's all you need to do. Uneven pull-ups. Uneven pull-ups are extremely goated when it comes to one-arm chin-ups, because every other exercise kind of pales in comparison. First of all, the uneven pull-up is really specific since you're pulling towards one single arm and your whole body is moving towards that, and then your other supporting arm is just further away. Lots of people, they use a resistance band and then they have it over here, but then they just pull and to the chin over there like this. But the correct execution for the uneven pull-up is you pull to that hand, because then what you can do now is we can release pressure, and then you can just put your arm to your side and put it behind your back, and then you don't lose that tension and you don't swing, because your center of gravity is all over here anyways. And so when you let go of this, then you just end up floating if you have the strength. And you can go up with one finger, hold, and then you can slow down in the negative, and then when you come back up again, then you can also do one finger and then hold. Like, it's such a infinitely scalable exercise, and even if you can do the one-arm pull-up, it's still a very hard movement, so it must not be underestimated. False grip hangs is going to be good for front lever, and it seems like you're getting really comfortable with it as well, looking at the duration of the video. 6 handstand push-ups as well. This is amazing. So the tip that got Darren from 4 handstand push-ups semi-clean to being able to do 6 like this is not holding at the top, because the handstand push-up is a mixture between balance and strength, but when you're doing multiple reps, it doesn't have to be a perfect 50-50. It's really good if you just go push, 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 and then on the very last rep, then hold it, as opposed to holding it after each rep, because then you're basically doing multiple handstand holds. You don't want the handstand push-up set to be all about balance. You want it to just be about flow, and so not holding at the top doesn't break the flow. See how he's going up and straight down, and a bent arm handstand point is the most stable position when it comes to the handstand push-up, and so you want to spend more time in your stable comfort zone than at the top where you're balancing. So if you're just able to pump them out like this and just be in the bent arm zone more, you're gonna rack up numbers for the handstand push-up. And I'm really proud of this, Darren. Great job, mate. Looking at your tuck punch push-ups, the improvement that we need to implement from last week was that you weren't able to maximize the hold at the end. Whenever you're doing a pushing exercise or planche, it's all about trying to regain protraction and focus on the top range. It's never about the bottom range. You only do the bottom range of the movement so that you can weaken yourself enough to regain it. And that ability to regain at the top after you've weakened yourself with the bottom range is how you can scale your strength. So this is really nice because you're able to hold the top. And you'll notice that in order for you to hold at the top on your last rep, you need to press through the ground. So it's always just push, 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 and then press at the top. lean planche push-ups. The planche lean is amazing as per usual. The floating is also really nice. So now you're trying to do a more advanced variation. So instead of just catching yourself at the bottom and doing the bent arm planche, you're trying to float as soon as you do the lean. And I'll show you an example because not many people have seen the advanced floating lean planche push-up. I learned it from Francisco Rossi, who was my coach for calisthenics. And basically, as soon as you lean, then you want to go into a planche. Of course, planche is really hard, but then as soon as you go down in the bent arm position, then you're starting to, really get that float in way easier. So it's a really hard movement, but this is going to build you an amazing base foundation. Now for the floating puck push-ups, this is really nice. This is really, really nice, actually. Scapular plank with movement, activating serratus again, just like Gary, but this is a different angle to Gary. Gary, he wants me to check whether he is actually protracted or not because his scapulars are the weakness. With Darren, he films it like this because protraction is not a weakness for him, it's cohesion. And I can see that there's a good symphony of, muscle coordination because your hips are staying down, but you're also guiding with the hips. This will translate well to planche lean push-ups. And when you're doing tuck planche push-ups, regaining about that protraction and staying level is going to be really, really nice. In terms of any upgrades to intensity, I think the advanced tuck front levers shouldn't be touched. I think it's really good. Your rows also need form work as well. Uneven pull-ups, infinitely scalable. We can keep this exercise, and your next phase for that will be do a no finger assisted hold. Handstand push-ups, infinitely scalable. Your tuck planche push-ups, you can even try to do it on dip bars as well for something that's more intense. Floating lean planche push-ups, these we're going to leave for now, just because I think I want you to have less fatigue in this first block and just really understand everything. We can always just keep pushing exercises, but if we don't have to, we don't really need to. I mean, you're really strong at this, but let's look at more exercises in the rest of the training week before we make any moves. But that's pretty much it, Darren. Looking forward to your next 2 workouts. Let's get it. Darren's really strong. If you haven't seen my video with him about the 90-degree handstand push-up and how he unlocked it in the first week, then watch that. His goals are really sick as well. So he aligns with me in the sense that instead of just let me lock in real quick. Darren review. Yeah, instead of just training calisthenics for the sake of training calisthenics, he also has a calisthenics brand where it's like a gym bag for calisthenics. So that's pretty cool. And then he also wants to start calisthenics meetups in his hometown in Perth, which is something that I've done in Sydney. And so I'm really open to giving people advice when it comes to that. I guess if you want to start a park meetup, the best thing to have is just consistency, because people will show up randomly, but if you have an OG group that just comes again and again and again, if these new people don't rock up, then you still end up just hanging out with your mates. Ready for Darren. Yeah. If your goal with the meetup is to try to get as many people as you can, it's never going to work because these things take time. People need to be nurtured by your presence. People need to find similarities. People need to also experiment and explore themselves, because calisthenics is a really scary sport for some people. They're not really used to doing stuff with others because the movements are very very intimidating. So if you see like Darren at the park and you want to train with him, you might go for 1 week, but then you'll just feel overwhelmed. And I get that. I understand. There's no reason. It's not rational for someone to be scared of someone in the park, but it's just what it is. Yeah, so if someone joins the park, don't just try to like bombard them with calisthenics advice and everything. Try to just treat them like a friend. Because at the end of the day, you're training together to form connections, not to compete or against each other to see who's the best, or even just try to farm clients, which I know a lot of people do. You're there just for, it's just a shared human experience. Okay, let's go into the next person on my list, and that will be Luke. Luke. I'm excited for this one. Let's go to the top. Jump to the top. Okay. Hey Luke, Merry Christmas. I'm going to have a look at your clips now. Before we go into it, I really want to commend you on your eagerness whenever it comes to calisthenics. I love reviewing your clips because I can sense the enthusiasm behind it. So let's get this done. High pull-ups. These are very interesting because your previous high pull-ups, they're a little bit more crossfitty because you're having that arch in your lower back. But over here now, it seems to have improved in terms of core engagement. But we're thinking of it like a double jump, which it is. But I would say that when you kick downwards, once you're already at the top, you almost kill your momentum. So I would just try to only go up and just have my knees come up, and that's it. Like, come upwards, try to pull, and wait, my bad. I think this is actually a box pull. It just looks like a high pull-up because you're kicking your legs down. Yeah, so if this was a box pull that you're showing me, then don't kick downwards. Just keep your knees in, and then when you come down, imagine that it's like a step down. So I'll show you what a step down is. This is a step down. Boom. Try to step in front of you. Like that, stretch. And then when you do the box pull, then this is what it looks like. Boom. And step down again. And then go for it again. So it's step down, box pull, step down, box pull. Step down, box pull, step down, box pull. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Because if you kick your legs down when you come up, then you just lose that momentum. Yeah. In terms of the functionality of the box pull, it's just to get you high and really explosive. And it seems like you are actually able to do that, but you got a really interesting double, like a double jump mechanic when it comes to your high pulling. It's not like smooth. That's good if you're a beginner because just getting the height is going to be important. But do you see like how when you pull up, you activate your scapulars, which is good, but then you also then bend in your elbows, and then you end up doing elbow drive. That does work. Like, this is what I teach, scapular activation, check, rising phase, check, and then elbow drive, check. But if you want to be able to do the high pull-up more efficiently, more effectively, it needs to be in unison, because that's how you combine everything together. So like, look at me when I do my high pull-up. everything is in unison. Boom. Boom. So I use my lats, but then I also pull at the same time, and I'm elbow driving straight away. Whereas you break it up in 3 different parts. It looks cool, actually. It looks very gravity defying, but yeah, it's just not as smooth. Okay, so what we tried to work on last week was doing the tuck to advanced tuck. So we do a tuck front lever raise, and then we go down in advanced tuck. But for today, we're doing advanced tuck raise and an advanced tuck negative. So this looks good. It seems like it's just outside of your reach for intensity. So what I want you to do, Luke, is for your first set, do this exercise. Like, go up in advanced tuck, go down in advanced tuck. But on your next few sets, like, stick to your guns. Like, go up in tuck, control it nicely, and then go down in advanced tuck. So just because I prescribe an exercise that's going to challenge you doesn't mean you have to do it for all 3 sets. You can just try it for the first rep, and then do the rest of the reps tuck to advanced tuck, and then you can do that for the rest of the sets. Or you can just do your first set fully advanced tuck, and then the next few sets tuck to advanced tuck. But then I also want to show you this video. So this is going to show you the core engagement needed for you to do advanced tuck positive, and then okay, let me just show you this. You'll see what I mean. So this is a tuck front lever raise. I want you to do a knee raise first, like this. So this will lock in your core. Once you're locked in your core, then you can fully activate your lats. So look at this. Now I'm fully activating my lats, and then I'm retracting and pinching upwards, right? And then I can come down slowly. For you, this might be a bit too hard, but now you know what to aim for. So this is obviously a lot of momentum, and you're not going to be using your lats as efficiently, but you're pushing yourself, which is good. So just try to aim for that in the future. Also send this as well, just so you can see. So that's there. Yes. Good floating bar push-up attempts. To do a handstand push-up, you don't need a lot. You don't need to be doing all these fancy exercises like using resistance bands and strapping them over your neck and then going up and down. You don't need to be doing wall handstand push-ups. You just need to do one single exercise, which is the floating puck push-up, because you're pushing as hard as you can, and it's so specific to the movement, Luke. Like, that is pretty much like when your feet are off, you're in a handstand push-up position because you're putting all the weight onto your upper body. And if you just spam this exercise, get really comfortable with it, actually learn the skill of performing it, then that's all you need for handstand push-up. I've shown you the proof with Phil and my other clients. Now we just need to just stay consistent with it. 2026, this is the year. Yeah, okay. I like that lean, and then I like how you enter it. This is good. You're protruding with your head as well. Gary can pick up a lot from this, because first, like straight up, you're protruding. Like, you don't protrude once you go closer. Like, you already do it. So that's good. Either way kind of works, but you can still get a lot of gains in the planche lean if you protrude. So if we're going to be spending a lot of time training per week, you best believe that we're going to maximize as much of it as we can, right? I find it interesting how you also have the box. That's the fitness FAQs technique. But the whole point of this is not to try to lean as much as we can. So I'm guessing that you are using this box to make sure you don't actually lean even more. because back in the day, fitness FAQs will get people to move the box further and further back to increase the lean, and increasing the lean will be a method of progressive overload. But now that's been debunked because it's really harmful for you to use your wrist and make it in like a dead position because you lean so much. That's just not how you progress in planche. And it's through protraction and through serratus work and really having height, which will then translate your planche practice into handstand push-up practice. Because with our planche and everything like this, right, sliding into a tuck planche, this is actually going to benefit our handstand push-up, because look at our tuck planche. Remember this position. Now, when you look at a bent arm press to handstand, it mimics that exact same position as well. And this is going to be much needed when we're doing harder movements, because a bent arm press to handstand, you can't go deep. If your shoulders are like below your elbows, it's going to be too deep for you to progress. So this is kind of like a tuck planche push-up. So if you this is kind of like a tuck planche. If you train a tuck planche, you'll strengthen that height, so then your shoulders won't sink below your elbows, and that's when you can levitate and float up. And when you train planche as well, you're going to inevitably train the bent arm planche position, whether it be through lean planche push-ups, whether it be through bent arm planche holds. And so you'll have a better carryover in 90-degree handstand push-ups. Because why settle for less? Why just settle for normal handstand push-ups where you can do the next level above and above and above? And the highest level is planche. So that's why we train planche, because then it makes everything else easier, and you're going to be developing strength that no one else has, and you're going to have the biggest advantage because you actually understand the mechanics behind everything. It's all about height. It's never about lean, never about how hard you can push. You can shoulder press 100 kilos, but if you don't have the right mechanics, it's going to be very hard to do handstand push-ups. It's going to be impossible to do 90-degree handstand push-ups, and it's going to be seemingly impossible to do planche unless with good form and protraction, unless you know the mechanics and the technique behind it. It's good. I wonder if there's actually any question behind that. I kind of given you some advice on that, Luke. The way that you're doing things right now is good, but it's not going to give you the most amount of results as if you were to, do that knee raise and then go up and only target your lats. But that's a progression. We're working through intensity here. So the stronger you and more comfortable you get at doing that, the better. But yeah, that's your review. I would say for the floating pike push-ups though, lead with your nose. See, when you put your head down, then you change everything. You keep all the weight on this side. So if we lead with our nose, it means that we dive down a little bit more, and just like planche, because everything correlates, everything is connected, then we'll be able to get our feet to come upwards. So lead with your nose when you're coming up. Whew. Just a few more to go, 4 more people. But just trying to still maintain the quality of the reviews. Trying to stay as composed as I can. Trying to just... I ate a lot for Christmas, and so I haven't really had much today to eat as well. But I'm pacing myself. I'm not trying to speak too loudly because I'm running out of breath. But yeah, we're good. We're good. Just keep putting in the work. I realized with calisthenics coaching, it's way more enjoyable for me than obviously doing my old sales job. But then it's also like work, just because you're a content creator online, and just because you're doing something that you enjoy, and it's not like work. It's still hard. It still like takes time out of you. But if you look at a client, right, I can't just take money out of the pocket and put it into my pocket, because that will be illegal. I actually have to provide someone some type of value. And right now I'm leveraging my time. I'm providing a good service, and it's using up my mental energy, and I'm using my time to do this whole training thing for them, and that's why I get the big bucks. But yeah, it's just simple economics, I guess you can say. Oops, don't do that. Client summary for Luke. Done. Boom. Add the note here to the CRM. Yeah, overall good job, Luke. It's never about how strong you are, it's about how long you persevere without seeing results and still enjoying the process. Like with handstand push-ups, with planche, with everything, it took me so long, man. Like handstand push-ups, 2 years before I can do my first one, and then to get my second one took us 6 extra months. Whereas these guys are making insane progress for just being like less than 1 month or 1 month and a half into the program. And planche, don't get me started on that, 4.5 years. Have you ever tried doing something where you just absolutely sucked at it and you saw no progress, and you continue doing that, not just for 1 year, not just for 2 years, but 4.5 years? Yeah, that's what built me. All right. Next on my list is Keith. Keith. Let's have a look at what you're doing. Okay, I'm excited. Keith is new. He hasn't given much feedback. I haven't given him much feedback, so I'm going to put my best foot forward. Let's do this, Keith. Hey, Keith. Merry Christmas, first of all. I'm going to give you a review now. I'm going to look at your clips, and I'm going to provide as much feedback as I can. If I need to search something on YouTube and send that tutorial to you, I'll also send that, because it will be more informational, it'll be more targeted, and you can watch it in your own time in order to fix your form, rather than me trying to give you a complete rundown on this specific review. So I'll look at what I can, and if there's something that I have to go a little bit more further into, then I'll just send you a video based off that. But really excited for this, because it's my first time seeing you do things like properly. So bend front lever. This is good. Minimal swing. I can see that you're retracting, so this is nice. But now it's just a matter of trying to progress from here. So basic strength principles. If you're pressing in calisthenics, which is trying to go into like inverted hold from a front lever position, then you're going to be in a much better spots for muscle hypertrophy and strength acquisition, because you're recruiting as many muscle fibers as you can. When you're moving through a full range of motion, you're turning everything on. When you're moving explosively, you're recruiting more muscle fibers, and it's also way easier to scale. So when you do a hold, it's so subjective, right? Because you could be swinging around, and then after like a few seconds, then you poke your legs out. So this is just sloppy. And it's not your fault, because this is your test. This is you just trying out some exercises. But if you're going to actually train, I'm going to find your level for where your pressing is at. So I'll decide what level of pressing you can do, because this is going to be most conducive to front lever gains. So this is giving me lots of information. Retraction is the main thing, but you're really comfortable with advanced tuck. Be interesting to see what you can do without the bands, but we'll look at more clips. Okay, so straight up, this is actually really good. I don't know what your background is for lean planche push-ups, but this is ticking all the right boxes for me. The first thing that I'm seeing is you're really leaning down with your chin, which is good, because that offsets the weight with the seesaw effect, like that. So if you want to get your legs to go up, then you need to increase more of the weight on the front side. And so diving down with your head is what's going to give you that tilting effect. I can see that your wrists are broken, so it means that they're not stacked completely on top of each other. Because can you see how it's like this? that's not going to be very good for planche in the long term, because just like front lever, when you're pressing for planche, you're going to a handstand. So ideally, you wouldn't hold a handstand like this. I hope not. So you wouldn't want to planche like that as well. What I'm also looking for is leading with the hips. The reason why you actually want to lead with the hips is because when you're going for a 90-degree handstand push-up, for example, then you're trying to catch your elbows into your waist so that you can use it as a regressed form of intensity. Because when you create friction with your elbows and your waist, then it's much easier to perform than if you were to go past your elbows like so. And so that's the rationale behind guiding with hips. So I don't know if you knew about it or if you just did it intentionally, but going past your elbows is really difficult for 90-degree handstand push-up and also for planche push-ups. But you're just trying to magnetize your hips towards your elbows. So this is good. One thing that I would change though is the way that you have your wrist, but also like your external rotation. So whenever you go up in a planche push-up, I don't know if you've actually attempt trying to do like a tuck planche push-up or like an advanced tuck push-up, but you'll notice that when you go up, your shoulders will want to internally rotate. So your shoulders will just naturally try to internally rotate, which is going to really, it's not really a good image over here, unfortunately, but it's going to give you some rotator cuff pain, and it's also going to stop you from being able to press into a handstand for planche in the future. So if you want to avoid doing that, then try to twist the bars at the top of the push-up position. If you aren't thinking about that clearly, then this video that I have on my page might change your perspective on planche. So I can send it to you. It's not entirely relevant right now, but just for the sake of you getting as much theory and knowledge as you can at the start of the program, why not, right? No harm in having more knowledge. Yeah, over here. This is what I'll send you. You just watch that in your own time. Okay, let's have a look at a few more clips. Yep, banded planche again. Just giving me lots of info for what we're going to do for your personalized program. Okay. Nice. I would try to like squeeze your glutes a little bit more at the top as well, just because it's creeping closer to your upper back. The reason why you want to keep your hips down is because you're really trying to push through your chest and activate your serratus anterior. That will help you get that pop and that protraction and hold whenever you're doing planche. And it's this fan-shaped muscle. So serratus anterior, it's a fan-shaped muscle like this. So in order for you to fully contract it, butt needs to be squeezed and glutes retroverted, which means like inwards. So you just squeeze your butt, which will then, allow you to work on that bottom part of the serratus anterior. And then when you protract your back, then that creates like that whole fan-shaped contraction. Awesome. Nice. That's a good planche lead. Notice how your wrists over here were actually much stronger, but you shifted it when you did planche lean push-ups. Like you got complacent. You allowed them to stack unevenly, but the way that you planche lean and the way that you planche lean push-up has to be the exact same. Yeah, I think you corrected that as well, because you might have seen my tutorials, but that's good. Uneven pull-ups. So I'm really looking to see like how many fingers you can get rid of on the other hand, and then that's pretty much it. Like, you can take this infinitely. You can have your fingers completely off at the top and then only be doing one arm chin up hold and then come down slowly. Or you can just do straight up one arm chin ups, and then the more that tired you get, then you just use your other hand as assistance. So you can go to the moon with this exercise. In terms of technique though, like, this is just raw pulling power. So it's for me to determine what your intensity is for that. And it deeply correlates to advanced tuck touch for front lever as well. This is good balance and using feet to support you. This is good. You have a good sense of protraction. The level after this is we're going to be doing advanced tuck. So floor is not absolutely necessary for a beginner. Floor is actually really hard when you do advanced tuck. So we're going to learn how to do tuck planche on the floor, but then eventually, once I see that you are up to that level, then you'll do an exercise such as this. So you tuck and then advanced tuck, back in, and advanced tuck. So we're just taking things slow for this block, just getting into the habit of submitting videos so I can review your form. And then as things progress, Keith, then we'll go into harder movements. A really good indicator for me giving you a harder movement is also like your handstand push-ups. So if you're able to do more handstand push-ups and you're able to do more floating lean planche push-ups, floating pike push-ups, then it will indicate to me that your tuck to advanced tuck planche is ready to be done as an exercise. One thing I'll also change for your planche lean slide is your head positioning. So looking forward more and really diving with your chin like a turtle. So like this. The more you protrude your neck, the more that you'll be able to offset that balance. Yeah. So it's very interesting because your planche is good, but your floating pike push-ups are weak. Like, you aren't able to float it with your legs fully off. So that's not giving me too much confidence for me to give you a harder planche exercise. I think you have a lot of room to grow for your overhead pressing, but it's good what you're doing. So you're also changing your leg angle. That way you're able to be more overhead. Once I can see you can do a floating pike push-up, then it'll give me a confidence boost to upgrade your planche exercises. But yeah, goal of this is to really put as much pressure here so your feet can lift off. It's okay if your knees are bent as well, because if you're doing a bent arm press to handstand, you don't need to strain your legs. I might have shown you this already, but yeah, myth busted. Like, handstand push-ups don't require hamstring flexibility. In bent arm press to handstands, you can just do that. So primary focus for pike push-ups is to float. Don't worry about hamstring flexibility too much. Just do what you can to front load everything onto your shoulders. Awesome, Keith. That was your review. And if you have any more clips, then send them over. I'll get them reviewed next week. Hopefully this provides you lots of information. Floating pike push-up is going to be the immediate next goal. And then once I see progress in that, and once I see that you corrected all those little cues that I've given you and show me more exercise in your workouts, then we can step it up a notch. But this is the structure and this is the progression that I want to follow when it comes to making progress. Okay. Keith, review 26/12/2025, and I'll send this to him. I'm going out for dinner with my mates after. We're gonna eat at the restaurant that my mate is working at, because my mate's brother is actually visiting Gold Coast, Australia from New Zealand. And that's exciting because obviously love my mate, and it's interesting to see what his sibling is like, because siblings are fun. It's suss this guy out. Client summary for Keith. So that's why I'm dressed a little bit more nicely, because I'm going to meet people. But first of all, we've got to put in the work. I wonder if this is like meeting everyone's expectations for calisthenics reviews, because I'm posting this. Let's get into it. Hey David, Merry Christmas. I'm going to review your clips now, and I can see that you're at a calisthenics park in North Sydney. I'm going to try to recommend more parks to you. I don't know every single spot. I know where the meetups are, but it's awesome that you are in Sydney, because I can help you a lot with connecting different people. And there are like a lot of competitions that happen in Sydney as well compared to other places in Australia. So it's not a bad place to be when it comes to calisthenics. So I'm going to review these two clips, and I'm just going to show you exactly the amount of value that you can get once you do upload clips. Because most of my clients, whenever they submit clips for review, they just send as much as they can. For example, I like to use Gary. He sends me all these clips, and I give him a really good response. Like, I just go through absolutely everything. And this is across like 1 month. Look how many clips he sent me. And he's learnt so much. Like, if you look at, oh my gosh, it just keeps going on and on and on. If you look like at his first few clips of him doing front level with bad form, compared to like his attempts now, where they're much stricter and more controlled. It's all because of these reviews, and it's all because of the value that I provide as a coach for like techniques and identifying errors with form. And you can see like his front lever now, straight line, and a progression that is actually not too intense for him, but he's still able to push hard. And so that's the value in sending clips. That's actually how you make the most of your program. So I'm going to give you some advice based off what I see over here. You're swinging quite a lot, and if you're swinging, you're not working, because you're not able to target the muscles efficiently, and it's also a sign of weakness in your stabilizers, and also a lack of intention behind the movement. So in order to eliminate that, what we're going to do for the tuck front lever raise is really engage the core first, which will then allow us to utilize the back. And then once that's all taken into account, then we can activate the lats. So if we go into a tuck front lever raise, it's all about retraction. So you come up the top and you just try to really push upwards like so. But then when it comes to activating your core, you want to do a knee raise first. So this way you're in a stable position. Now, when I try to go upwards, I place it all to my lats, and I shouldn't be swinging, because in order to stop the swing, I push upwards and create that retraction, which will eliminate any kind of movement. And there we go. That's how you do a tuck front lever raise. Now, if you were to keep doing this, the swing is going to hold you back. The lack of lat engagement is going to hold you back, and not retracting your shoulder blade so you can counteract everything is going to be a limiting factor. And if you want to get the front lever, you will be able to do it. Like, it took me 2 years of figuring stuff out in order to do the front lever. So it's definitely not impossible. I believe that you are very strong, David, and you're capable of many things. But this isn't a matter of whether you'll be able to do it or not. It's how fast you can do it so that you can achieve it within the program. It's how much fun you can have while training these exercises. And it's whether you can do it or not without injury. So these three main things is what really trying to get you to cross the line with when it comes to training. So pay really close attention to the techniques in these videos I send you. Now for the inverted deadlifts, these are really nice, but this is the part where I educate you on the reasoning and the impact that these exercises have. So when you look at the front lever, you don't want to just hold, because the reason why holding is bad is because you just sink down in the front lever. You just you kind of just succumb to gravity, and that makes your form not only bad, but also makes your hold times less as well. So when I do a front lever hold, I'm not just thinking about trying to only do the hold. More so thinking about trying to press it. So this is what a normal front lever hold will look like, and I'm just using a band as an example. So it's kind of like this. Now, it might just look like I'm in a static position, but the more tired I get, the more that I'm actually trying to press. So this is akin to a movement called the cable pullover in the gym. You might be a little bit more familiar with this one, David. Yeah, so this is a cable pullover. And as you may know, this movement primarily targets the lats. And that's exactly what the prime mover is for the front lever. Because if you have a seesaw, then when you want to get your legs upwards, there needs to be more weight on this side. So right now, if your seesaw might look like this. So this is your legs, right, on this side. And so in order for you to go upwards, what do you need to do? For front lever, you need your lats, which is this part, to pull up and resist gravity and to strengthen that part. Because the more that you can strengthen your lats, or this part, the more that you'll be able to hold it. Okay? And so having that same activation of cable pullovers is going to be really important. And the inverted deadlift is a regressed version of the front lever press. So this is inverted deadlift, and it's all in the proper form. Yep. So as you can see, the lats over here, they're being worked, but obviously not worked to the degree of the front lever press, because the front lever press is more harder. So we're recruiting more muscle fibers because we're working through a full range of motion, and in order to press, you have to be explosive, and explosivity will allow you to create more muscle fibers. And there's also a clear indicator for whether or not you've done a rep or not. Because if you just do a hold, for example, like over here, it's subjective. Like you're swinging, and then if you want to put your legs out, your hips might not be in the best position, you might not be retracting enough. But a front lever press is a front lever press. You can do it with bad form, but it's really easy to see if you're doing a bad form or not. So having a press as your main indicator of repetition is going to be the best method for progression. So that's why we want to use dynamic exercises as well. So my suggestion for you for inverted deadlifts is to really understand the movement in different parts. So obviously we're utilizing the lats, but when you want to isolate the lats, you can't bend your arms like a pull-up. So you're actually bending by pulling. It's okay to have bent arms, but if you're bending your arms to get your legs up, then you're going to lose that lat engagement, because it really has to be similar to a cable pullover. You're not trying to do a pull-up midway in the cable pullover, because if you were to do a pull-up like you did over there, you'll lose so much lat engagement. So the goal is to try to get comfortable in inverted hold So if you can't get to the top, you can do inverted hold. Like this. Just try to hold at the top. Try to squeeze the glutes just like this. And try to just balance it over there. I'll also send you a tutorial to get more used to the upper range. And it felt pretty clunky because of 20,000 beers. That's fair enough, mate. But just because you aren't performing well in the clips doesn't mean that you can learn things. Like the way that I teach you is by doing these reviews and sending the videos over and then supplying you notes and resources for you to learn. And if we're on a 4-month program, right? Say for example, if we're on a 4-month program, how many reviews can I actually give to you? 4 months, and you multiply that by 4 weeks. So you get 16 reviews from me. Yeah, that's how it works. So we've used up 2 of them. So you have 14 more videos for me to provide you as much knowledge as I can personally. Of course, I have videos on my page, there's videos on the school, and Matt also has videos, and you can learn from those. But you have 14 more sessions for you to receive individual personalized reviews, David. So going into this new year, I want to take you to where you want to go, and I want to work with you if you're willing to put in the work. But like, just sending 2 clips is not going to be the most ideal use of your time and resources, especially since you're putting so much effort into your workouts. So let's make an effort of doing that. But of course, it's just the first block. Sending clips, taking videos is a skill. It's not something that you would do normally if you didn't have someone to review your stuff. So that's what this whole block is about. It's about understanding the importance of sending clips and getting into the habit of doing so. But yeah, that's your review done. Okay. Most people don't realize when it comes to calisthenics coaching that after you've done your sales call and you've acquired your client, the work isn't done. You still have to sell, because selling isn't just about me putting my finger into your pocket, taking out your money and putting it in mine for the exchange of value. That's not what sales is. Sales is me trying to not convince yourself of an idea, but to help enable you to believe in yourself. Let me say that again. Sales is the ability for one person to enable self-belief in another. I'm not trying to change your mind on something. If I was going to change your mind, only you can accept whether you want to actually take that in or not, because I can give you logic, I can give you, pathos, ethos, but at the end of the day, you're the person that will decide whether you want to implement my advice, my perspective shift or not. So I can be the best coach, but if I can't explain these concepts to you and actually sell it to you, and for you to actually take it into practice and into life, then I'm a useless coach. So a good coach is also a good salesperson, because the person that you're trying to teach needs to be convinced of the things that you teach them. And most people in the calisthenics community, or just like strength coaches in general, they use their social proof, or they use their proof of like them being able to do the exercise as one and done. Like that's the only thing that they really do. But the pen is mightier than the sword, is what I'd say. All right. Let's send this to David now. Let's copy this transcript. So if he's in the car, or he's at work or something, or not in the car, but like if you can't actually listen to the video, then he'll at least be able to extract the information. Oops, needs to go ChatGPT. Now for David, let's what Wait for this. And I think the next person would be Mojo. So let's wait for ChatGPT to do its thing. Yeah. Boom. Chuck this in here. Keep internal notes. Just so, oops, that was Keith. Delete. No harm done. Let's go on to David. Let's mark him off. Boom. Notes. There we go. Let's go to MJ now. And then we have lucky last with this George. And then I'll go for dinner with my mates. But clients come first. Okay, let's see how many clips he sent. Not many. Mojo. 3, 4, 5. Once again, not many clips, but you guys have to really get your clients to send you clips. It's not only going to allow them to make full advantage of the program and actually see results, which is, ethical, but it's just, if you want to charge high prices, you want to have a higher customer retention rate, then you need them to do the one thing that is going to allow you to become the best coach in their eyes. And remember, sending clips is a skill. Not everyone does it at the start. Like, filming yourself is a skill. So you're not just teaching them skill of calisthenics, you're teaching them the skill of filming themselves, and filming themselves will give them an edge over their competitors. So remember that. Okay, let's start this recording. Hey Mojo, Merry Christmas, mate. I'm going to give you your review now. First of all, there's not many clips that have been sent. I know it is Christmas time, but I'm going to emphasize a point in this video, and that is the most amount of value that you're going to receive on your 4-month program is going to be through these reviews. So I have a large array of resources, and so does Matt, and it's in the school community as well. But you join this program because you want a personalized approach, because you've been stuck doing the handstand push-up and you haven't been making progress. And I can personally guarantee you that in order for you to make progress, you need to send in clips for review. It's helped for me. It's helped for my best clients. And it's really a matter of the more that you apply yourself to the program, the more that you will get out. And I'm willing to go as long and as far as you want to as well. So it's not just a one-sided thing. I'm not just spouting information and you're listening. You also have to put in your part. And we're working as a team in order for us to really get you the best results. Okay, so I'll do your review now, and I can see that you're trying to get some consistency in the handstand. A really common mistake that people make when it comes to doing the handstand is actually working on longer hold times rather than the hit rate, by the way. So I would much rather see multiple kick-up attempts with you holding it at like a 70% success rate, rather than you just doing like a 10-15 second hold. And I can see that you're also going for your handstand push-ups over here. This is really good. It's what you want to do at the start, but a limiting factor is going to be your legs. And most people will just look at your handstand and be like, okay, you can't do handstand push-ups because you need to do more wall work. Well, that is wrong. The wall is entirely useless in my opinion when it comes to getting your first handstand push-ups, or even 10 for that matter. I don't train against the wall at all. But the reason why your legs are going to be the limiting factor for your handstand push-up is because you're not able to utilize whip tech. What whip tech is essentially you abusing your body mechanics. And if you look at this video, right, I'm going to explain to you by example how whip tech is really used. Boom. So if you're able to engage your core while you're doing a handstand push-up, then you can utilize that to then create momentum shift, and boom, you can get up. And I'm going to show you a particular result from one of my clients, because he originally thought that he originally thought that he wasn't able to do the handstand push-up simply because of strength, but that's actually an illusion. So let's go over here and let's see what he looked like before and then what he looked like after using whip tech. And I guarantee you, if we keep working on this, you'll be able to unlock handstand push-ups easy, MJ, because your balance is kind of like the thing that it's going to hold most people back. But you've got balance, and I can see that really clearly. Okay, so this is him 5 minutes before I gave him the advice for whip tech. And by the way, this is Tyler that we're looking at. He goes for the handstand. He's got that on lock. He goes down, but he can't seem to get up. It's just not moving for him. But as soon as we implemented whip tech, then you'll see like the improvement comes straight away. So at first, he comes down. He doesn't do it perfectly, but even without doing it perfectly, he's still able to use his leg and he was able to get up instantly. Like there's just that minute change gave him extraordinary results. Comes down, activates his core, and his legs are slightly tilted. You can tilt your hips a little bit more, just like what I was doing in this video over here. Yeah, like that's really whippy. Of course, he was just learning it, so he wasn't as whippy as me, but boom. He was able to get up through that way. Up. More whip tech. There you go. So, now that you understand how you can actually increase your pushing power, we're going to actually dive into how we're going to train the range of motion. So like being able to go down more, and how to actually get your legs to be more like over here. And the simple answer to this is pike push-ups. So pike push-ups is a very specific exercise that will get you to handstand push-up. And it's because you're literally just working in the same shape and in that exact range of motion. Kick, 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 kick. Nope. Let's see if you do it though, so we can actually critique. Okay, so that was planche. We'll go to pike push-up. So pike push-up works in these different stages. See the imagery. Okay. So the different stages of pike push-up is you try to emulate the bottom of the handstand push-up. So you can easily imagine that your handstand will look like this if you were to have your feet up. And if that is the case, then you're doing pike push-ups correctly. So now you're working on that full range of motion. With the handstand push-up attempts, you start from a handstand, you go here and you can't go all the way down. But now you're isolating that bottom range of motion with the pike push-ups. So this is the first phase. Next phase is you're now doing a floating pike push-up. And how that differs from a normal pike push-up is when you're doing floating. Let's find a good clip of it here. When you're doing floating pike push-ups, you're able to find the actual center of gravity zone. So I have no idea if I'm actually doing a pike push-up correctly compared to a normal handstand push-up unless my legs float up. Because when my legs float up, it means I'm putting so much tension in my shoulders and I'm so lean forward, but not too lean forward, but like correct enough to the point where this is essentially a handstand push-up. Like if I move my legs over here into a bent arm handstand, that's essentially a handstand push-up. I'm literally just emulating a handstand push-up, but without all the trivialities of going into a handstand, balancing, going into the negative. I'm able to isolate things much better. So first step is to float, just like this. And then the second step is to do a bent arm handstand hold, and you can enter it however you like. And next step is just to whip it up. So actually isolate that whip tech. So if I put it all together, boom, utilizing whip tech, and I come up so easily. So this will just be like a normal pike push-up or floating pike push-up, just levitating like that. And I'll show you a bent arm handstand. It will be here. I wonder if this is the one where I fail. No, it's not. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. What I was trying to emphasize is like when you're in the bent arm handstand and you're comfortable with this position, then you can like manipulate your hips however you see fit. I can go like this. I can go like that. Or over here. I can go like this. I can go like that. I'm so comfortable in the bent arm handstand, I can just move my hips anywhere. And that then allows me to whip tech. And essentially for a handstand push-up, you're basically just going from a handstand into a bent arm handstand and then adjusting your hips and then doing a whip tech. That is pretty much what a handstand push-up is. So I'll show you in this video. So I go handstand, a head protrusion. So now a head is protruded. And just to emphasize what protrusion is, I go back in the handstand and then I protrude again. That allows me to activate my pike push-up. Now in bent arm handstand, I can whip up. And it's as simple as that. Okay? This is the amount of value I can provide to you, MJ, just through one video. So the more videos that you can send me, the more value you get. This is nice. One thing I would do is just, instead of having your head facing down, try to really dive with the chin, kind of like a turtle. Because if you have a seesaw like this, right? Let's say you're tuck planche, you're like down like this. So in order to get your lower body come up, you need to really try to put more weight over here. All right? So then they'll offset that balance and lift you up. That's what we're going to say for now. But I just want you to concentrate more on the pike push-ups. Nice. Weight pull-ups are good. I really like the elbow drive. So at the top, really just throwing your elbows backwards and just having a really explosive pull at the top. Ideally, you would want your explosiveness to look like this for the top of a pull-up. Boom. Boom. That's how you can use elbow drive at the top of your pull-up. So that's the review, MJ. Hopefully you've had a good Christmas, and I'm looking forward to seeing more clips in 2026. Nice. Yeah, so more onto the topic of selling exercises to your clients. Because when people join the program, they don't really care about pike push-ups or bent arm handstands and that kind of stuff. They just want a result. They just want a transformation. They want to be, MJ in 2025 who can't do handstand push-ups, and then they want to become MJ in 2026 who can do handstand push-ups. That's what they really care about. How they really get there doesn't really concern them. The reason why they're getting a coach, which is a done for you service, is because I'm the smart one, and they are someone that doesn't want to get injured, that doesn't want to do the guesswork and figure things out. I just want to have a fun time training, and they also just want to do things in a less amount of time. So that's why they pick me as a coach, because I can get them to that spot way better than if they were to do it themselves. So within the coaching program, I need to sell these exercises because I know they will get them results, but I also need them to do them. So just because I don't care about how they can get to that transformation, to that skill that they want, doesn't mean that they can't do the exercises. Because if they're not doing the exercises, then they're not going to get the results. So I need to sell them the exercise. And the way that I sold the exercise to Mojo is show him what the end result could be. I show him the progressions towards it, because if you're just doing a pike push-up and you're doing pike push-ups for the sake of pike push-ups, how boring is that training? You know, when you're doing an exercise that you're not sure what it will lead to, that's just cruelty. That's just literally just going through the motions and not seeing any fruits of your labor. So what I love to do for my clients is just educate them, show them the path, let them know that like it's just around the corner if you just put in the work towards this specific exercise. And sometimes it's like medicine. Sometimes you have to do dolphin presses, and I'm sorry for my clients that have to do dolphin presses. I know it sucks, but it's for your own good, because I know that it works. That's why I get so many client results. So let's do George now, and let's pull him up over here. Okay. There's just lots of clips with George, so I just wanted to make sure I've got a good grasp before I start the recording. But yeah, George, let's begin this review. Hey George, Merry Christmas, mate. I'm going to do your review now. And first of all, I want to say thank you so much for the enthusiasm. It's really motivating to see that you're really wanting to get into calisthenics. So let's get you that knowledge in, get those brain gains. So handstand work, this is awesome. What I'm really just looking for is this is just like a consistent pattern, because if you want consistency in your handstand, it's not just about like the attempts that you do. It has to be the quality attempts. And right now, I can't see your feet, but I can see that you're doing a double lift off over your with the feet. So you're having both of your feet come off the wall. Now, this isn't recommended. And the reason why I say this is because when you're doing a handstand kick up, the most consistent way of kicking into a handstand is going to be through the antenna leg. What the antenna leg is basically you having one leg come up first and then the other one joins. So this leg scopes where you are in space, and then the other leg will join slowly. So when you do a normal handstand, just get a handstand kick up clip over here. You'll actually spot my antenna leg working. Boom. So antenna leg goes up, and then other leg slowly joins it. Now we're holding. This is the most consistent kick up. And for this video, look at this first go, obviously, because I'm a boss. But this method of training, where both of your feet are hopping off, it's not going to be conducive to consistent results. It is going to challenge you, yes, but your problem and what you wanted to achieve was having consistency. And this is not how you do it. It's by having one feet off at a time. So if you look at like my feet activations on this video right here, then this is kind of like the footwork drills that you want to do in order to get your feet off the wall. You want to go one at a time, like this, or you can go like this, and this is a more advanced version. You know, just slowing that down, okay? And hold times are bullshit. And what I mean by that is, I would much rather you do 5 different attempts and you get 100% hit rate, or you do 10 different attempts and you try to get a 80% hit rate for a 3-second hold after those 10 attempts, rather than you doing one handstand hold for 30 seconds. Because when you're doing handstand push-ups, when you're doing planche, when you're doing 90 degrees, you don't need to hold a handstand for 30 seconds. Not in that whole set, and you're not going to do 30-second handstand and then do a handstand push-up. It's just not functional. And if you get your hit rate up, a handstand hold is so easy. You don't need to do a handstand more than 2 seconds. You don't need to, unless you're doing one-arm handstand practice. But then if you want to do one-arm handstand practice, you just do the one-arm handstand. Also, back against the wall, bullshit, because you have the wall as a magnet. So if you have the wall over there and then you're going to use the wall, then you'll just promote banana back. I understand that's what you're not doing over there as well, but like in case you want to teach other people how to do a handstand, always just try to avoid the wall because it magnetizes your body. So antenna leg kick up is good over here. I really like that, and I can see that your hands are consistent. Just for the sake of this video, I think you're good in this sense. You just need to keep practicing. So I'm gonna skim past your handstand video if that's all right, because we're gonna get into the juicy stuff. That's gonna be your handstand push-up attempts. So when it comes to handstand push-up, you're really lacking whip tech. Whip tech is a momentum abuse when it comes to handstand push-ups. So if you look at this, right, I'm going to go for a handstand hold, and I'm going to whip my lower back for 90 degrees. So I'll go over here, and then whip tech for a 90-degree handstand push-up is essentially me abusing my lower back and just going up as fast as I can. But for a handstand push-up, the first thing I think about is just trying to enter that bent arm planche position. Because once you enter that bent arm planche position, you can control your body however you want. And the ways that I control my body is I pike my body, my legs like this. That way, when I go up, I can just flick them. Boom. Much more powerful and a much better use of your body mechanics when you're doing a handstand push-up. So if I was to show you the handstand push-up activations, which I have over here, then we can actually deep dive into exactly what the technique is. So I show this in MJ's review as well, which is in the previous chapter, but let's watch this. Okay, so handstand, head protrusion. What head protrusion does is allows you to activate upper chest, because I know you go to the gym and you train, but when you're doing incline bench press, why is it in an incline instead of like upright? It's because it activates your upper chest more. Of course, when you're doing a barbell overhead press, it still uses your upper chest, but if you're in an incline, which is this angle over here, upper chest more, and your upper chest is going to assist you way more than just using your shoulders. So you want to use your upper chest for explosivity. In order to actually get into that zone, you need to protrude your head. And then the second step that you need to do is you need to enter the bent arm handstand. And the way that you enter the bent arm handstand is exactly how you would enter the bottom of a pike push-up. So when you do pike push-ups, you come down, lead with your nose. And that's exactly how you go into the bent arm handstand from the protruded head position. Now you're in bent arm handstand, you can manipulate your hips. So in this example, I got it just about here. This is just enough. You don't need to do it too much. It doesn't have to be like that. Just needs enough so that you can then use this to whip up. Drive with your lower back and boom, you're done. So you look at your handstand clip now. Let's really dissect what's happening over here. You have a protrusion and it's good. But now we just need to correlate what's happening in the clip to your thought process. So you need to now tie in the protrusion to like an actual functional aspect of the handstand push-up. So next time you do a handstand push-up, instead of just doing the protrusion mindlessly, really think about why you're doing it. It's because you're recruiting the upper chest. And now we're in a bent arm position. Learn to sit in it. Learn to be comfortable in this position, because if you can be comfortable in the bent arm handstand, then handstand push-up is going to be so easy. And notice how like you haven't parked in your hips, and so when you whipped up or attempted to, you're now in a banana position. So you have to do more correcting. So that's also another advantage of manipulating your hips in a pike position when you're in the bent arm handstand. And look at some more as well. This is good, but I think you know what you have to do. So we'll skip ahead to some different attempts. And we'll keep going on. So you mentioned to me bent arm planche was not that great. as well. We'll cover that once we get there. But this is your planche lean hold. What I'm really looking for is getting your hips down more and protracting your back, just because the serratus anterior is a fan-shaped muscle. So you really need glute retroversion in order to stimulate the bottom part of this fan, and then you need to protract more, and that you do that by pinching your collarbones together and pushing through. I'm not going to go into planche theory too much in this video, just because I have videos on it. So what I'll do, George, is I will send you a video on mastering the planche, and I'll just get you to watch this one because it is really packed with information, and it's going to benefit you a lot. Let's get you to watch this. Yeah, bent arm planche, it is good. I don't know if you're doing a full position or if you're doing straddle, but this is really nice. And this is going to give me a good idea for what we can really work on for the personalized program. But if you're finding this really difficult, I recommend just a bit more contact with the elbow and the waist, because skin friction is called elbow tech, and elbow tech is exactly what you need in order for you to do really well in the 90-degree handstand push-up, and also for lean planche push-ups, because then you can really manipulate your hips once you're doing a 90. So once you can catch yourself into that bent arm planche with elbow tech, you're in the safe zone. When you're in the safe zone, you can then recuperate, get all your energy, and explosively whip up. And that's what got Darren to being able to do a 90-degree handstand push-up in his first week of coaching. And I believe if you try to enter that way as well, you'll be able to do it. Yeah, watch this video as well. I'll just send it to you. Let's keep going forward. And just for the sake of this video, we'll just skip the leg clips as well. Actually, let's watch this. I would prefer a pronated grip, just because you can use a more severe version of elbow drive, which is over here. Yeah, so elbow drive is something that you would lack in bodylifting, powerlifting or bodybuilding training, and it's just like that. Elbow drive, boom. That'll be really good for front lever pull-up training in the future. Like, obviously you can do high chest bar pull-ups, but if you want to do high pull-ups and you want explosiveness in your pulling, then pronated and really driving the elbows backwards is going to be really important. Skip the handstands. One arm chin up hold is good. This is really nice. So it's giving a good indicator of your strength. It's not completely gone. This is really nice. You're just lacking tension in the other arm. That's completely fine. Yeah, nice. Okay. In terms of reps and sets, I'm not going to go too nitty gritty into it, because you can just adjust them as you go. Because if you want, if you are more tired towards the third set of the exercise, you could just use more finger assistance. So for the purpose of this exercise, give me a good indicator of your strength level. And when you're doing movements like the front lever, or if you're just trying to move more weight for the way to pull up, it's just overloading your top range static, and you're also able to just push more intensely when it comes to calisthenics. So if you do want to do front lever in the future, which I know that you're not too entirely keen on, then this is a good way to work on your intensity. This is also a really nice tuck front lever raise. How I would make this harder is you go tuck, but like an advanced tuck. So instead of you going up in tuck, go advanced tuck, and then you come down advanced tuck as well. So you go like this, extend your legs out, into advanced stock, and then lower down, and you repeat this for reps. So you'll connect the advanced stock to your tuck front lever raise, like so. Yeah, but we'll go into this once we create the personalized program. Yep, nice. It's really activating the core first and then engaging the lats is perfect. Okay, planche lean push-up. Let's have a look. Yeah, so we're really lacking intention behind this. This is a bit too much of an issue to solve because you've got a lot of things that aren't that great in the planche lean push-up. First of all, you're really missing the engagement at the top. The whole point of the planche lean push-up is you're trying to protract at the top, and you're trying to imagine you're in a planche position, so you dive with your head. You need to have your hands a little bit more to the side, externally rotate, posterior pelvic tilt, and then when you're at the bottom, you are doing a good job of retracting because you are activating your chest muscles, and you are leading with your hips, which is nice, but we're changing our head angle. When we change our head angle, then it throws everything off balance. And the purpose of doing linear plane push-ups is because we want to do planche push-ups. This is a problem that I'm going to have to solve for you. In doing so, I will send you a video because it's going to be a bit too hard to explain it over here. Mastering the planche. Maybe it's in Gary review. See if I talk about my planche lean push-ups. There is one video with Gary where I was explaining planche lean push-ups. Let's see if I can find it. Planche. So not this Gary review, but yeah, this one. Mastering the planche push-up. So I use this as an example, like I'm showing you like what a planche push-up looks like this. Okay, yeah, this will give you a lot of information. Awesome. Yeah, when it comes to learning these techniques, these pre-made videos are going to be like the best way for you to absorb as much knowledge because I just explain it more specifically over there. So it's going to save you a bit more time just because you can watch it back at your own pace and it's not like buried within this video. I talk about it way more and we have time to look at other things as well. Handstands are fine. So another look at your handstand push-up attempts. Yep. Yeah, like I've got no problem with handstands. This is fine. But obviously you don't need to hold it for that long. You just need 3-second hold. That's it. Multiple attempts. Boom. Done. Also the rest time, so handstands is just a guideline. You don't have to do all the reps and sets like to the T. If you feel like you're warm enough for the handstands, boom. You're good. You're good. Like you don't have to spend 25 to 30 minutes doing handstands, by the way. Just a guideline. Nice. Yeah. Ideally I want to see like see if your hips are touching. Yeah. So I will do it more like this. Yeah, lacking elbow drive, it's a thing that most people don't really know about. You imagine that your elbows are going past your body. So if we look at this video over here, elbow drive, elbows behind your body. right? And then if you look at the high pull-ups, the way you get it to touch your bar, get your waist to touch the bar, is when you drive your elbows back. So I'll play it one more time. Boom, driving the elbows back. Just make a habit of that. But this is really good. It's giving me a good idea. Uneven pull-ups, you can go to the moon with these. I recommend these over any other exercise for one-arm pull-up. But you can be more intentional with this. Because like, how many reps are you doing? 2, 3. Yeah, too easy. You need to increase the intensity, George, by using less fingers. And then at the top as well, if this is way too easy for you, you can just remove your hand. So you go uneven pull-up, and then you just remove your hand and you go down in the slow negative. Like this exercise is meant to be really intense because it's towards the end of the workout. And then you can supplement this with your one-arm chin-up holds on the other days as well. With weighted dips, a good tip as well, if you want to like dip a lot of weight, is when you come down, control it by taking a deep breath and then exhale and then lift your head up. So like just throw your head up like that, and you should be able to lift much more weight. Yeah, so when you go up, your chest rises and your head also rises. I don't know if I can find a video of that on my page because I have to go really far down, so I won't worry about it for now. Oops. Where are we? Here we go. Let's see if you do these correctly. Yeah, so our fundamental understanding of planche is just flawed because you need to know what a planche push-up actually is. So once you watch that video that I sent you over here, you'll see. Like Gary, his form was pretty poor when he first started, but then he was able to fix it. This is what you want your planche to look like. I just explain it so in depth over there. Like there's nothing I can say in this video that video won't cover. Yeah, that's slightly better just because your hips are more down, because you want your serratus to be activated and your hips come down. You keep changing the angle of your head. You need to keep your head angle the same. So if your chin is diving down, it needs to stay diving down. Because when you then do like a normal planche push-up, like a full bodyweight one, then it's going to change your center of gravity, which is going to be really hard for you to do anything. Yeah, so you're doing this exercise with your head on the floor. This is making it too easy. Your head actually needs to be above the floor, and you're meant to do this slowly so you can feel every single part of the rotator cuff. Yeah. So no resting your head over here because that makes you lose all the engagement, and just going way too fast as well. But this is a good test for me to see what your mobility is like. And it is good. But more so, you've been doing a lot of powerlifting. So I just want to make sure that your rotator cuffs is healthy. Because if you're going to do one-arm chin-up work, it can actually be pretty dangerous if you are ill-prepared. And so this is giving me a good sense of whether or not you'll be able to do it or not. And when it comes to handstand form, it's actually really ineffective for you to chase imbalances and like try to correct imbalances, because when you just do more consistent work, imbalances just fix themselves, and you can just do exercises imbalanced. It's completely fine. Everyone has a dominant hand. Our organs don't even sit evenly. We have our liver on one side. We have our heart slightly overlapping on our left side. Like we don't like this is so minute. Like if we look proportionally at my progress and your progress, and how long I've been training and how long you've been training, like I could even argue that I have more imbalances than you. It doesn't mean anything. And I know number 2 in Australia, Rice Lord, this guy over here, he is so much more imbalanced than me. And he is number 2 in Australia. So imbalances don't mean shit when it comes to strength. Strength is just strength. Imbalance won't give you injuries. Poor activations give you injuries. So keep that in mind. But you've given me lots of information, George. I hope to keep providing value and keep working with you. And definitely look at the videos that I sent you over here. And looking forward to seeing more clips. That was the last one done. Let's go. So let's go George. Review 26, boom, 12, 2025. Hope you guys learned a lot. Yeah, because I learned a lot through these videos as well. Or reviews in general. But I am ready to leave the house and socialize, because although I do love my work, you still need to have those breaks, still have those moments where you spend time with friends. And it is Boxing Day. Yesterday I did have a good time on Christmas, ate a lot of food, had a lot of deep conversations. But yeah, let's paste this here. Let's go into George. He's gonna hopefully appreciate this one. I think he will. Boom, notes done, and that's a wrap. Look, this is a really long video. I'm not really expecting everyone to watch all this, and I've added chapters for all the people that I've reviewed today, all the 7. So yeah, I mean, these are my prices. This is what I charge. I think going to 2026, we're definitely going to increase our prices. For the amount of value that I give, definitely worth more. So if you want to work with me, then message me on Instagram if you have any questions. And yeah, just look at the link down below if you want to have a quick call. You can book in a time slot as well. I also have playlists on my channel. So if you click on my channel and you look at my playlist, that's where I group all of these educational videos. And if you want to learn a little bit more about me, I've got like podcasts, I got vlogs, I got all this stuff. So yeah, you can probably tell my voice, I'm pretty tired. I've been doing this for a few hours. I'm trying to work on delivering a faster service while keeping the quality intact as well. But this is a full day of coaching from me. And I will see you next time, whether you're a client or a viewer.